guys, so today I'm going to talk about how gender is a spectrum. So first off, let's talk about the number one common misconception that causes people to doubt that gender is in fact a spectrum. This is the confusion between sex and gender. These are two terms that are often used interchangeably, but they aren't the same. It's like when you think a raisin cookie is in fact a chocolate chip cookie. You know, raisin cookies and chocolate chip cookies seem to be the same at times, but they really aren't. And that's the same thing with sex and gender. People assume them to be the same thing, but in fact, they're very different. Sex is the biological part of a person, your reproductive organs, your chromosomes, all the biological part of it. Whereas gender is only the mental part of it, how you relate to certain gender norms, gender expressions, and how you relate to being a certain gender. Now, the gender identity of a person is composed by three main components, which are sex, gender, and expression. Now, sex is of course the biological part of it, as I mentioned, and scientists themselves have said that sex itself is not only restricted to only male or female, because one can also be either intersex or hermaphrodite. And when it comes to gender, since it's the mental part of a human being, gender of a human being can almost anything. It can be any combination. You can be gender fluid. One day you're feeling male, one day you're feeling female, and you can be transgender. You're born in a certain body, but you relate to being a different gender. For example, trans males. Trans males are born in a female body with female reproductive organs, but they relate with the masculine gender. They relate with dressing the way males dress, and that's where gender expression comes in. Gender expression is the way you dress, talk, act, behave to express your gender. Of course, this is all dictated by societal norms, but that's what gender expression is, how you express your gender in alignment to societal norms. So, sex is just the biological part of it, and there can be intersex and hermaphrodite conditions. Gender is mental, and thus it exists across a spectrum. Scientists themselves had said that the XX and XY chromosomes in a person can behave differently. So you can either be male, female, genderqueer, or almost any other gender. And different genders have different pronouns. Like a cisgender person is someone who has the correct reproductive organs and relates with the gender they were assigned at birth. And thus, the cisgender, and they go by the pronouns of maybe she, her, he, him, and then there's genders like pangender, bigender, trigender. That's a mix of different genders, and they go by the pronouns of they, them, and agenders have different pronouns. All these, the genders across the gender spectrum have different pronouns, and expression is basically how you express your gender. So yeah, that's it for today, and remember, gender is a spectrum.